Hi everyone! Let's have some fun painting colorful fall leaves. Start by either sketching out your leaf or you can just set your leaf right down on the paper and trace around it. I love this trick. It makes it so easy. Trace one side of the stem and then trace in the other side by hand, otherwise it can end up a little bit too thick. Start by painting the lightest color. I'm just going in with yellow and going to leave a white spot for a highlight that is light reflecting off of the leaf. I've mixed together a little bit of blue and yellow for a nice bright green color. I'm just going to add it into a few spots on the leaf. Going right over the top of the yellow areas, and that's going to give us some nice blending, a nice combination of colors. Once I've added in my green, I'm going to rinse out my paintbrush and then just blend together the transitions where the green meets the yellow just a little bit to soften the edges. I don't want to blend the colors together completely, just soften the edges. Now I'm using red and adding in just a few little dabs of red here and there. Make sure to keep your strokes nice and loose. And then I will go back in with a damp paintbrush, clean damp paintbrush, and then just soften where those edges are meeting. And if I work quickly and work while the yellow paint is still a little bit damp, then when it dries, it will get some nice blending. And the colors will just blend together very nicely and smoothly. All right, moving right into this maple leaf. Filling it all in with yellow and again leaving a few areas of white for reflection. I'm going to add in a few dabs of red. Fall leaves are actually one of my favorite things to paint. They're so much fun. I just love all the colors that they have. So I can even pick up some of the pigment that I already have down on the paper and move it to another area. Now, as you're working, it's really great to sit up straight and then keep your shoulders down and back, and then keep your arms relaxed. And keep your neck relaxed as well. That helps you not get so fatigued as you're painting. So just building up these layers of color little by little. Take your time with it. And I can always rinse out my paintbrush and then just soften the transitions, soften the edges where the colors are meeting. Now I'm adding in a crimson. I just really love this color as well. It's so nice and just really pops on this fall leaf. Just in a few areas because I still want that yellow coming through. And soften the edges just a little bit. And lastly, our oak leaf. Fill it all in with yellow, leaving a little area of highlight. Now that is yellow ochre. Just add in a few dabs of yellow ochre in a few areas. And some burnt sienna. I'm just getting a range of all these really nice warm colors into this oak leaf. And a little bit of burnt umber. This dark brown just really adds a little bit more dimension to this leaf. It's so great. And then again, I can clean out my paintbrush and kind of soften the edges where the colors are meeting together. It can also help to look at a real leaf while you're painting these so you can get an idea of where you want the color to be. Or you can just follow along with me as I paint. Now I'm going to add a shadow to the side of the leaves. Just using a black, water it down just a little bit so it's not too dark. I'm going to add this to the right side of the leaf and the bottom side, but not both sides, just one side to make it look like a real shadow. And then I rinse out my brush and then soften the edge on the right hand side where the shadow is blended out just a little bit. All right, and rinse out my paintbrush. Use a damp paintbrush just to blend out the edge. Get a nice soft edge on it. I'm going to add in a few little hints of veins running through the leaves. I don't want to overdo it, but just add a few in. I'm using the dark brown, the burnt umber, to add these veins in. Although you could experiment with different colors and see what works best. If you're actually looking at real leaves, you can look at them. They oftentimes have different colored veins, depending on the different type of leaf. So it is kind of interesting. And just add a little bit more color to the stem. This leaf is still a little bit wet, but I'm just going to go ahead and add in the veins anyway, just so you can see what they'll look like. But ideally, this would be a little bit drier when I'm adding in my veins. And adding the shadow to this last leaf. And rinse out my paintbrush and then soften the edges of these shadows. Now looking at this, my leaf on the far left is a little bit dark in the shadows, so I'm going to actually just go back in and lift off a little bit of that pigment that I have in there so that the shadows on all the leaves can all be similar. All right, just softening up those edges and then lifting off a little bit of that pigment with a clean paintbrush. And that's it. I hope you had fun painting fall leaves along with me. We'll see you next time.